celebration. And I love Mexican people. I'll just straight up say it. I love a lot of Mexican people live in Arizona where I live, and man, they have a lot of fun. I love my Mexican friends.
Out, bruh.
Based on a true story. What in the world? They're trying to live with a bear? I don't know. Cocaine Bear. There's a movie called Cocaine Bear coming out. I don't know. Philadelphia, PA. Oh, why'd you have to put that up there? The Eagle fans are all over my city right now for the Super Bowl. Look at that beautiful city of Perth, Australia. Oh my God, I'm going there. Oh, what a beautiful city. All right, here you go. Over under 3.5 rounds. Islam is minus 110. Volk minus 120 is the under. Oh my God, win by knockout plus 850 for Volk, plus 400 for Makhachec. If you want to parlay something for Islam to win by knockout or to do it earlier on the under, there's your value. You're gonna need to parlay. This is what Scott was talking about before. Volk's a 3-1 dog. He's a little under that now, but he was over that earlier in the week. So being a 3-1 dog, you win $3 for every dollar you bet, right? If you parlay that, it gets sick, and that's how you really like have a great weekend in Vegas and bring all your boys up or your favorite girl or girls or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because you hit a big one, right? You'll hit a few grand on a few $100 bet if you do that. But if you're parlaying Islam and you think he's going to win straight up, why would you not take a shot on the KO TKO? Unless you're convinced he's going to sub him and the odds there aren't as good. But Islam has been a wrecking ball. Look, I'm not. This guy has been absolutely phenomenal. I am not taking anything away from him, and I'm not saying when I pick guys, when I pick Volkanovski to win this fight, I'm not saying that because I think Islam sucks or Islam's not good. I'm not denigrating Islam. I'm not putting him down. When I analyze it, when I say he's fought one championship level opponent, that's not me ragging on Islam. That's me telling the truth. More of us should tell the truth in this world these days. You know what else is the truth? Alexander Volkanovski has a 71-inch reach, and Islam Makhachev has a 70-inch reach. Why do you think Volk can outstrike these taller guys? Did you not watch the last Max Holloway fight? I know you did. I know there's no threat of a takedown, completely different when you can stand there and slug it out and have no fear of being dumped on your ass and choked half to death. I get that. That changes your stand-up game immensely, and it will for Volk tonight. But he's so smart. A championship gym in Australia, his gym, right? And then in Thailand, training with the best of the best over there. And he's got Craig Jones in jiu-jitsu. And he's training at City Kickboxing with Eugene Behrman and all those years with Izzy and Hooker and all those guys. Man, I wish Rob Whitaker was on this card. I just had an ADD moment. Squirrel! ADHD. But man, Islam won't stand. I know Islam was talking all week about how he's going to knock him out and he wants to knock him out. And even if he isn't listening to his coaches, that's what he's going to try to do. That might be just playing a little bait game there, you know? And when Islam just went to the ground against Charles and got that oh my God, the Darce, that's crazy. His submission game is well rounded. I believe one thing about Islam, okay, and I think it's the same thing with Volkanovski. People don't really know their strength until they feel it in the octagon. That dude is so strong, and his ability to hold you down once he takes you down. I haven't seen very many people with the kind of strength. And he's like Khabib, just a carbon copy, man. In a lot of ways, he might be better, honestly speaking. But you know what? His tricky striking is way better. I mean, Hav Mendez and AK, his striking is tricky, right? His cardio is off the charts. He's relentless with the pressure, but he's like Khabib. Like, he'll literally get a hold of your foot. Then it's your ankle. Then it's your calf. Then it's your knee. Then it's like an anaconda working its way up your leg. You're screwed, right? But right now, we're just moments away. And if you've seen the countdown shows of Volk's deadlift with all those plates, looking at how short those legs are. Think of how short your legs are when you're 5 feet 6 inches tall. Think of when you sprawl back and someone's trying to grab those short little legs and take you down, but now those legs are pretty far away. But you have a 71-inch reach and they have a 70, so you can push back and keep them at a distance where they might not be able to reach those tiny little legs, which, oh, by the way, if they get a hand on them, they are like bricks, and he's strong as an ox. That's why I like Alexander Volkanovski in this fight. I think he's going to be very, very tough to take down. And if you watch the countdown show, one of the things they worked on with Craig Jones and his team, and Jones, I don't even have to tell you about Craig Jones, right? It's fighting from his back. It's wrestling. When things get nuclear and everything's bad, you get rocked, you're on your back. They did that the whole camp. They put him in terrible positions against killer wrestlers on his back in the middle of the cage, getting beat up from everywhere because of Islam Makhachev. Their camps are incredible. This is not a walkover fight for Islam the way the odds would lead you to believe that it is. Now, again, they're just controlling the flow of money because that's the odds maker's job. The odds maker's job is not to tell you who they think is going to win. I'm going to shut my window here because a loud party in the condo complex here in Scottsdale, Arizona, Super Bowl weekend, Phoenix Open golf weekend. Oh, my boy Joe just texted me. Let's see what Joe wanted. Big Joe Aberdeen from MMA Bet Club. They sponsored us over the summer. Big Joe A. What did Joe want here? Yes, I'm streaming live tonight. It's on YouTube, Joe. See, he wants to watch, but he needs to go to YouTube to do it. And Volkanovski's going to make the walk, guys. Let's go. Who wants their money to get tooken? Just like it's lunch money on the old school playground. Take your lunch money. What did Eminem say? Get your shoes, coat, and your hat tooken. That's what you're going to do if you bet me on this one. Volk walks out to a hero's welcome. I've been saying it all night. Am I going to get taken down, Hussein? No, Volkanovski's walking to the octagon right now, guys. What a scene. What a scene in Australia. This dude's a little fired up. I haven't seen him this fired up on a walk in a long time. Wow, Alexander Volkanovski, Shell Harbor, Australia. 4 consecutive title defenses at featherweight for Alexander. So Alexander Volkanovski, he doesn't have any weak areas, man. He's strong as an ox. His legs are short. His lungs are super. Look at his arms, Scott. His fingers. If he stands with his arms to his side, guys, his fingers are even with the tops of his knees. His arms are irregularly long for a guy his height. That's what people aren't getting with this fight. He has a longer reach than Islam, and people aren't getting that. For some reason, it's not computing. It's not why I think he's going to win the fight, but it's a big part of it. I think he's going to be able to keep him at distance, and I think he's going to hurt him. I think Volk's going to hurt him with strikes. How will Islam respond to that? How will he respond to real damage? We found out with Hamzat and Gilbert Burns' fight, right? I think we're going to find out about Islam, and I think Islam will handle it well for a while, but Volk just wears on you, and he's so strong. Both these guys are ridiculously strong. He's the #1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet, and he's the blue corner. This is ridiculous. He should be the red corner, but he's challenging for the real belt, whereas Islam's challenging for the mythical pound-for-pound. I get it. But also, bald Volk is a whole new level of Volk ever since he shaved his head. This dude is a savage, right? He is an absolute savage. Goddard's the ref, you guys, by the way. If Volkswagen can stand, I think he wins. Okay, Craig. Volk for the win, KO second round. Holloway part 2 at lightweight, mark my word. Ooh, part 2, you mean part 4.
Guys, we
Volk is the best
have
pressure fighter I've ever seen. Baby Yoda. Go ahead, Scott.
31,000 votes tonight. 31,000, 79% are for Islam.
Yeah. 79% or 71%?
79. It's been pretty much 79 from the get go.
Yep. The numbers are skewing just like the bets are coming in, and that's why the line. But there was a big jump on Volkanovski. There was a big jump on Volkanovski because a lot of the pros popped in on him late. You know what I'm saying? And they drove that number down so they could get that number. And that happens too, where a conglomerate of people kind of get together and throw the money down. And then it'll move the line. Khabib did prep him, but he's not in his corner. Remember, Khabib is not in Islam's corner tonight, and he was the voice talking to his fighter. He was against Oliveira. You saw it.
Do you think that'll make a difference?
100% yes. Javier Mendez is a great coach, but he is not Dagestani. He's not Russian. You know what I mean? He doesn't speak the language. I mean, Khabib could say things in that language that other fighters who are fighting him, they'll have someone else there to do it. But when you lose a guy like Khabib, look how brilliant he is as a coach, man. His strategy is incredible. Not having him in your corner is a big loss. They can talk all they want, Islam and the Nurmagomedovs, Umar and Usman, about that. But of course you feel the loss.
Will this be his first?
That's his head coach. That's his cousin.
This will be the first time for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
First
that could be a big deal.
I think it's a big deal. He has Javier Mendez. I mean, a lot of championship fights there, but notably missing right now, Khabib the Eagle Nurmagomedov. And I give Khabib credit. You know, and Islam's just like him. He doesn't fight for money. He's not going to take the red panty night for Conor McGregor. He's not going to do it. He doesn't care. I mean, he even said that that's more of a fight for the fans, McGregor and Chandler, and I think he's right. You know, he's like, I'm serious champion. They're not a match for me, and I think he's right. I think he kills either one of those guys. But Alexander Volkanovski is a different animal. I mean, Mike Chandler. Volkanovski's got a similar build to Chandler, but he's got those arms, Scott. You know what I mean? Islam's got the second longest active win streak in the UFC with 11 wins. He's got a finish streak of 5 fights. He's a beast, and you don't just run through guys like Drew Dober and Bobby Green, and he did. You know, I mean, those aren't guys that you just run through, and he did. So I mean, I give him credit. But his wins, he beat a very green Arman Sarukian. I mean, what he did to Dober and what he did to Bobby Green, what he did to Dan Hooker was very impressive. That was a big part of Hooker's slide, the Kimura, and just absolutely destroyed him in October of 2021. And then what he did against Charles Oliveira, following him to the ground to get the choke. They're very smart. They're very well prepared. Both these camps, both these teams, both these fighters. Guys, you're watching MMA Weekly's live coverage of UFC 284. The main event, Islam Makhachev, the lightweight champ, Alexander Volkanovski, the pound-for-pound #1 and featherweight champ from Perth, Australia, is just about to get underway. The official introductions are taking place momentarily. Buffers in the octagon. Everybody's standing. The goosebumps are real. Volkanovski's 3 years older, 34 to 31. He's 4 inches shorter. He's a half-pound lighter. He's got a 1-inch reach advantage. 71.5 to 70.5 is what they have at officially. So you guys know that I'm not lying. A shorter guy with a longer reach who's hard to take down. That's not an easy thing for Islam. He's not going to just rush into, and he's very fast with his shots. And Volk has been taken down, and he has been close to losing against T-City, Brian Ortega. And I do think if Islam gets him in a position like that, he will choke him out because he's a lot stronger than Brian Ortega. But Volkanovski is just that guy, like Henry Cejudo. They find a way to win. Derek Cleary, David Letheby, the judges. I can get the third one. Mark Goddard is the ref. What a big, big fight. This is a huge fight. Is this the biggest fight in the UFC right now, Scott? With Francis gone and Jones can't fight him? Is this the biggest fight in the UFC right now that anyone could make? Anyone against anyone?
It's either that or John Jones. It's either that or John Jones. But Dana said that this is in the top 5 biggest fights of UFC history. So, but will John? Is it? Do you think it's bigger than John Jones? A lot of people would say so.
Maybe, yes, I think so. But I also, and when I say big, I don't mean numbers because Conor will crush those. But what I mean by big is this is the fight. Pound for pound #1, featherweight champ going up to fight the 155 champion Islam. I would like to have seen Islam beat more big-time guys first, like Volk has, but again, Volk's the one coming up. But Islam's the one who made the challenge. This is great. I mean, the contrast in styles, Islam's wrestling and superb strength. His striking is vastly underrated. I mean, he's got pinpoint striking, a lot of power in his hands. I just think Volkanovski knows how to win, and he's going to figure. The guy's 25-1. He hasn't lost in 10 years. Never, every single time he's fought in the octagon, Scott, every single time he's gotten his hand raised. Every time. And this guy has been in the UFC since May of 2015. He has, I mean, Nick Lentz, Gleason Tebow, Sarukian, Drew Dober. Oh, these are I'm sorry, this is Islam that I'm talking about here. It's on the wrong page. Okay, there we go. So he's introducing Volkanovski right now.
But you know what? Dana said that this is, as far as numbers, it is one of the biggest fights. And I don't think Conor will have a fight that cracks the top 5 again. Not without him winning or being a champ. I think this is a bigger fight than even a Conor fight at this point.
Maybe, but Mike Chandler can sell it too. And they get The Ultimate Fighter, Scott, on ESPN, the network, all summer. Literally all summer, you're going to be watching that show on ESPN.
Good point.
And every one of their affiliates. Yeah, the ESPN Plus, ESPN2, ESPN, whatever. And Chandler's really good at selling those things too. And who knows what those two. I still wanted to see Masvidal. Oh, here's Makhachec. Oh, they're standing toe-to-toe, Scott. We're right away. So Volk's been in the UFC since November of 2016, but this guy here is 11-0 in the UFC. He's won title fights by decision, okay? Now, I'm talking about 4 title defenses. Every single one went the distance except the Zombie, and that was 45 seconds around 5. So this guy's used to fighting the distance. He's got good cardio. This is not a walkover fight for Islam. And here they come, Scott. Oh, wait, now it's starting just now. You're a little premature. That's what she said. 455. There we go. Volk is definitely shorter, but he's got the reach. So Volk's circling. Islam immediately took the center of the octagon. Keep them coming, guys, with the comments. These numbers are huge. We're going to have big numbers on the stream tonight. Thank you so much. MMA Weekly's live coverage of UFC 284. Smash the subscribe button, the like. My name's Jim Greasehaber, Gries, Jim Grease. At Jim Grease _ at Cageside Grease on social media. All of MMA Weekly's platforms and accounts. Give us a follow. We love to travel the world and bring you live coverage of UFC events on MMA Weekly. And here we are right now. Islam Makhachec, the champion, in the black and gold. Volk in the green and gold. Choosing to wear the green, not the black. And there you see, in back of me, through the magic of technology, the press room in Perth, where after the fight, the press conference will take place. You'll see Dana. I believe Dana's there. And you'll see he was at the Super Bowl yesterday, but he probably flew right over Australia. And then you have Volk or Islam, maybe both. Yair Rodriguez, we know he's going to be there. The new interim champ at featherweight. Not much going on here. No shots yet from Islam. Volk switching up stances. Orthodox and southpaw. Very quick with the jab. Volkanovski looking like he might want to shoot in. He comes into space, though, pretty quick and gets out just as quickly. Volkanovski does. And he does have those long arms. He might have touched him a little bit there with the jab and sends him rocking back a little bit. Volk threw a punch toward Islam's gut. Ended up where Islam came down a little bit, hit him in the chest, and knocked him back. What's up, Lion Yana? There you go. Shout out. Volk is definitely rushing in. He's coming in aggressive like he always does. Under 3 minutes left. You guys see the time up there, pretty much right on the button with the clock. Islam really looking for the timing here. He has not shot down for a takedown once. Interesting. 2 minutes in 15 seconds. So intense. This the magnitude of this moment. Get to Islam. Does it? It didn't on Fight Island, but he was comfortable there. That was home. He's on the road here. I don't think it's going to affect him. Just pointing it out in case. One of those things that you kind of need to mention a little bit. Volkanovski has worked so hard for this fight with Craig Jones, the BJJ legend. So anything that Islam can throw at him on the ground is not going to be anything near that. And remember that. Oh, in close, trading. Wow. Trading bombs in close, these two guys. Now Islam comes in and gets chest to chest with him. Volk will feel that strength now. Islam gets his back, standing against the cage, looking for that trip. And you know Volkanovski does not want to get taken down here. What a fight, though. I mean, they were literally just throwing bombs at each other in tight. Volkanovski not wanting to let Islam take him down. His legs are a lot shorter and so strong. They are literally tree trunks, Volkanovski's legs. But a precarious position at 138. So far, no dice for Islam. Most guys, he just kind of grabs them and ragdolls them. But Volkanovski's so strong, and with that low center of gravity, looking to get that underhook now and still fighting this off, even though Islam has his back. This is really impressive. But again, how much effort is this taking? Islam is looking for the takedown. Volkanovski goes down, and now Islam's got his back. He's up against the cage. And Volkanovski is looking like he's going to get up here. Islam's got the body triangle locked in. He's going to work for a rear naked. He's got his back, and he's pressed against the cage, is Makhachec, by Volkanovski's back. Volkanovski's on one knee, trying to fight off this choke. Islam working it. And Volkanovski literally, with 45 seconds left in the round, trying to stop Islam Makhachec from sinking in this choke and potentially ending this fight. Oh boy, he's got it wrapped around his head now. 37 seconds, 36, 35. This is something that Makhachec has been able to do to everybody he's fought. This is like a neck crank. Oh, he's got that arm locked around, but Volk's got his arms in there. He's turning his head. 23, 22, 21, 20 seconds. And Islam Makhachec has taken control of this round and this fight with this rear naked choke, but 15 seconds left for Volkanovski to survive. 11, 10. Islam calmly looking at the referee. Volkanovski looking like he's going to survive this round. 5 seconds left. 4, 3. Yep, we're going to go to round 2. Volk is just kind of give that little signal, so he's good. Alexander Volkanovski makes it to round 2. The crowd letting him hear it, but Islam may have won that round with the takedown and what he was able to do there. That was an impressive bit of mixed martial arts put on by Makhachec there, but that's really tiring, guys. Going for the takedown and defending the takedown. Both guys are going to be more tired after that one. I am going to take a look at the stats here. And we got, what do we got here? Oh, there it is. Okay, nope. I was on YouTube. That's why. Okay, nope. Here we go. But yeah, Islam had his back and then eventually kind of drag him down to the mat with him.
Over 43,000 votes, 77% for Islam. So he's lost 2%, but still a majority of people are saying Islam is going to win.
Islam, this is what he does, they're saying. And he took his back. He was able to get in there. So total strikes 15 to 11 for Islam. 9 to 8 on significant strikes, 1 takedown, and 2 minutes of ground control time. So you have to think that's a 10-9 round for Islam Makhachec there. The left hand got to Volk in that first round a little bit too. You look at the camera footage from inside the arena in Perth, Australia. Volkanovski does have longer arms, though, when you're looking at this jab. He's got to somehow use that jab to get in tight and land a couple power shots. You got to test his chin. You got to touch him up. Got to let him feel you. You felt him. You felt his strength with that choke attempt. Now you got to let him feel yours. And if you're Volkanovski, that's with a shot. That's with the fist. So like, look, if you're a lighter guy, if you're a smaller guy, usually you're going to have a speed advantage. And he hits hard with that speed. So strong. Blocking kicks there. 4:08 left. Oh, trying to get close. Volkanovski. Islam backing up, barely missed with a big right. This is a lot of fun. Islam's very good, very skilled, very quick, fast. Volkanovski does touch him up, and he dropped him with a left there. A big left from Volkanovski. Now Islam looking for the takedown, looking for Volkanovski's leg, and this is a bad situation for Volkanovski. Up against the cage, sitting down again with Islam. His left arm is around the midsection, and he's got the left leg of Volkanovski. So he's working on, now he's got his back again. He's going to work for this choke again. Volkanovski's got to get away here. They're starting to sweat. His arms and hands won't stick like they did in the first round, but he's fighting for his life here because you let this guy take you down with 3.5 left. Last time it was 1:20. Islam with the inside trips. Volk continuing to squat. All those reps, all those deadlifts, all those squats, all those clean and jerks. That's why his legs look like that, and that's why he's able to fight this off. But now Islam is able to take him down again, but now Volk gets up and throws a knee on the way up. We're at 3 minutes and they're standing. Volkanovski throwing bombs at Islam. You know, Islam did feel a couple of those shots, but Islam's so good at getting chest to chest and wrapping his arms around you, and he's so strong, and he knows the sweat is starting to fly out of Volkanovski and out of himself, so they're getting more slippery. And now Volkanovski reverses and has Islam up against the cage. This is some high-level fighting right here by both these guys, and Volk knows how to manipulate and maneuver that body weight to get out of there. 2.5 minutes left. They're in the center of the octagon, and they're standing up. Man, this is awesome, guys. Thank you so much for being here on MMA Weekly. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. Live coverage, UFC 284, the main event, 2:15 and counting left in round number 2. Alexander Volkanovski trying to win the UFC's lightweight championship from Islam Makhachev in his home country of Australia. Makhachec looking for the pound for pound right now. And for Volk, you know, really, you're playing with house money. You come up, you get beat, you go back down like Adesanya did, you defend your belt again, you know. But you got to give it a shot if the opportunity presents itself. You have to take that chance. You have to take that risk. No risk, no reward in this life. And Volkanovski is taking that shot right now with 1:45 and counting remaining. He's going at him on the feet. Islam's striking and striking defense, of course, is pretty damn good. And you guys knew that coming in. Volk ripping the body. Islam almost got him with a big right hand, and now he's coming at him. Wow, this is a striking fight. And Islam Makhachev gaining a little bit of the upper hand there. And he just keeps coming. Volkanovski on his backing up now. But, man, he's coming forward with everything he's got. And Islam is too. This is a lot of fun, man. We're at 110 of round number 2 in this championship fight. And Islam is every bit as good as advertised. Better on the feet than a lot of people thought he was. And I was not expecting him to be bad. Volkanovski lands a big right and a nice leg kick there. Islam just continuously stalking, hunting him down, looking to get his hands on him. But Volk's keeping him at distance here, switching stances, orthodox, southpaw, doing everything he can. Kicks, jabs, punches, coming in real quick and getting right back out, but coming in with power shots and combos. And whether he lands them or not, he's right back out. Now Islam trying to punch his way in, grabs Volk around the back of the neck, looking for that Muay Thai clench. He's got it, but Volk has him against the fence. Maybe Volk could take him down here. He's staying low. Less than 30 seconds left in the round, but Islam is so strong and so tough. And he's just, man, I wonder if Volkanovski can steal this round here with a late takedown with 15 seconds left and not have to worry about a choke. He's got him in perfect position for it. He almost got a single leg, but he's so strong. 10 seconds left in the round. And I'll tell you what, this has been a fantastic start for Islam Makhachev. He hasn't been able to really do some of the things he loves to do with the takedowns, but he did work for that choke, and he almost had it in round number 1. This one here, he got another takedown. He's got 3 minutes plus of control, 2 takedowns, and you're talking about 28 significant strikes for Islam and 19 for Volkanovski. So I think Volkanovski might be down 2 rounds to none here. Eugene Behrman telling him you need to get on top. He said you can be losing control. Or is that Islam's corner? You need to do your ins and outs. Okay, that's Volkanovski's. He looks like he's getting a little tired. Volkanovski did hit Islam a couple of times in that round, very close, and leaning forward into him. And then as he pushed down on Islam, Islam worked a single leg from the ground and scored another takedown in that round. Smash that subscribe button, hit the like, the bell. It's MMA Weekly. It's UFC 284. Don't forget 285 right around the corner. 3 weeks from today, Jon Jones and Cyril Gane in Las Vegas. Valentina Shevchenko on that card as well. And how about that new matchup there, Andrade versus Blanchfield? That's next week. Andrade is replacing Taylor Santos, who gave Valentina such a great fight last year. She pulled out.
Are you coming into town for the Jon Jones fight?
Yes, sir. I'll be there. I will be there. Oh, Makhachev, Scott, is minus 300 live. Volkanovski plus 235. So better odds for Volkanovski now than before the fight started, but You know what? The odds makers are never usually all that wrong, and they were on this one. But Volkanovski, remember, he gets better as the fights go on. He finds a way. You can never just go by how the fight is going, and Islam has not dominated this fight. But he's very hard to hit. Volkanovski's having a very tough time hitting him. You can see.
Give me the start of the
Islam's
round.
got that height advantage. I'm sorry, Scott. We're at 4:15. My fault. Bummer. Sorry, guys. I'll keep you. We're at the 4-minute mark now. Okay. Oh, wow. Some people are scoring that last round slightly for Volkanovski. Islam with a nice knee in the clinch, but Volkanovski's starting to land a little bit more now, Scott. I'm really impressed with Islam's stand-up. You saw what Alexander Volkanovski did to Max Holloway, and granted, there was no threat of a takedown. So for Volkanovski, he's trying to land at a little bit further of a distance with these shots because he does not want to get in too close, especially overextending and leave himself vulnerable to the takedown. He's got to be quick on his strikes. He's got to be in and out, and he looks like he's really, nice shot to the body. Ripped him with a right to the body, did Volkanovski. A little bit of blood somewhere in there on the midsection of Islam. Volk just took a little bit of a left off the side of the dome there from Islam. Look at these numbers, Scott. That poll must be killing it right now. We still take those poll answers as the fight's going on. Who's going to win? Oh, nice.
Over 50,000 people weighed in.
We're killing it tonight, Scott. We have some
shout out to Aiden backstage. He'll be bringing us the press conference as soon as this is over. Aiden in the land down under.
Great work down there, Aiden, without a doubt. And now they're in the clinch. Alexander Volkanovski does not want to be. Oh, he's pushed back into the cage, almost taken down. Oh, how did he avoid that? He's got the underhook, spins away, punches him, and Islam relentless, still working for it. Now Volkanovski's in a seated position. Islam grabbing the side of his foot, lifting up his ankle. Oh, and he eventually is close to getting it. Volkanovski looking like he's getting right back up. The over-under on 2.5 rounds was minus 150 on the over. And we are going past that, already past that right now.
If Islam wins, he needs to win in this round for me at my plus 650 bet.
Yep, and both guys are very slippery right now, so very tough to hold on to. And Volkanovski's matching him strength-wise. This is a great fight. Two incredibly strong, powerful punchers. In tight, they're both. And Volkanovski lands a couple of big shots. They're just throwing bombs in close against the cage. Volkanovski's starting to feel himself a little bit here, Scott. The confidence coming. He's dancing around. The crowd's screaming. 1:35 and counting in round 3. Volkanovski may have gotten round 2. This could be his round also. So far, so good. But he does not want to be on this up against the fence or on this mat again in this round. It's a battle of rounds, as you guys know, and you got 3 judges who don't have monitors and they're looking at it from different angles. Islam landed a hard left, and Volk just nodded his head like, yep, love it. Most guys shake their head no. Volk nodded yes. Yep, good punch. Love it. He's a tough dude, man. Like you try to fight that guy in a bar thinking he's little, 10 guys going to the hospital. Let's go Volk, says Andrew. Islam is really good, guys. I mean, he's even better than I thought, and I didn't think he was bad. I just thought Volkanovski would be better tonight. And so far, it's very, very even. We have not seen any big-time shots from Islam. It's mostly been through the clinch and working around to the back. Significant strikes. Volkanovski, 11-10 so far in this round. First time he's winning that battle, and comes in with a combo and drops him. Dropped Islam, who then sprawled right away and looked for that leg. Man, he's so quick to go for that takedown. But he's hurt. I think he's hurt. Volkanovski's got him up against the cage right now. 20 seconds left. And Volkanovski looks to throw Makhachec. Alexander Volkanovski. Better be careful not to get knocked out at the bell here. Coming in guns blazing. 10 seconds left. Now Islam has felt Volkanovski's power. Now it's a fight. They've each felt each other's power. Full bore. And we're going to round 4. Championship rounds coming up like we knew. We're over 2.5. All we need is 2.5 more minutes, and we're over 3.5. Just like we said earlier on. I was talking to my boy Joe Aberdeen, who I was telling you about before. Scott, you met those guys at International Fight Week when they sponsored us. and Joe with MMA Bet Club, and we were breaking down this fight, and we both loved the over 3.5. Both loved it, and I love Volkanovski, but he likes Islam. But Islam did land a real serious body kick, but Volkanovski just kind of went through it. Nice leg kicks from Alexander Volkanovski, body shots, an elbow from Islam in close that I didn't see live. It's so tough to see it live, which is why it's hard to be so tough on the judges. Scott, I'm gonna give you the start this time. I'm not gonna mess it up. And here we go. And not yet. Scott, pause it for okay. And 3. Hold on. I don't know what the holdup is. Goddard standing in the middle. There you go. Start it, Scott. All right. Round 4. Alexander Volkanovski, the featherweight champ and pound for pound number 1. Islam Makhachev, the lightweight champ and pound for pound number 2. Everything on the line and no clear-cut leader. And the odds are shrinking. Makhachev live odds -285. Volkanovski +225. The odds are swinging in Alexander Volkanovski's favor. All right? So you guys are seeing come to fruition in front of, or you're hearing me talk about what's coming to fruition, one or the other, or both. What I've been talking about the whole night. Oh, and a nice left hand from Islam. Snaps the head back of Volkanovski. Under 4.5 left. Southpaw stance is working good for Islam. Is throwing Volkanovski off a little bit. Amanda Nunes did that beautifully against Juliana Pena in the rematch. Came out southpaw, screwed her all up. Volkanovski's got to get in the pocket and get out. Get in the pocket and get out. Combos. He hits so hard in tight. He's got to hit that body. No low blow or anything. A little bit of a touch up there. Real good sportsmanship. Both guys, real quality dudes. Professionals. Nice left from Islam. Volk was leaning back, reducing the impact of that blow. Remember, when you're getting close, and especially when Islam can have his back against the cage, he can spring right off so quickly into a takedown or a trip or something like that. And Islam much quicker on the feet than Volkanovski thought he was. Another minute and this thing goes over. 3.5. Uh-oh. There's Islam, shoots for a single, and he's got it in the middle of the octagon with 3:20 left in the round. Volkanovski, he says, I'm up, to his corner. He goes over to the fence. Islam really, he pulls him down from behind, and he got a triangle on him. Volk got a little cocky saying, I'm up, I'm up, I'm up. And now he's got a rear naked on him again with the triangle locked in with 3 minutes left in round number 4. And now it's going to be a bitch for Alexander Volkanovski. This is the worst part of the fight for him right now. It was like a ninja move from Islam. I don't know how he got him down. You'd have to see the replay. Very, very impressive. But Volkanovski now on his back. Islam is behind him. They're laying sideways up against the cage. So Islam's got the cage behind him for more leverage. And we got 7 seconds till this fight goes over 3.5 rounds, most importantly. And cha-ching. Thank you very much. Okay. But this is a very precarious situation for Alexander Volkanovski. On the scorecard, he's probably up 2 rounds to 1. But Islam Makhachev is very close to sinking in a rear naked choke. Volkanovski's looking tired, maybe even exhausted. He's got an arm in, and he's throwing punches back at Islam's head, which are landing and hurting him and bothering him. So Volkanovski's got to keep his right arm where it is and keep throwing those backward shots with his left. And he's got to be careful not to give up too much here to Islam, who's got it now his gloves and his arms over Volkanovski's face, and he may have stolen this round with his takedown, but Volkanovski still has to survive another minute 45. Why is Goddard separating their hands? I don't know what was going on there. But Volkanovski, remember, training with Craig Jones, the jiu-jitsu, he's so strong, using that elbow to push down Islam's other arm, but he does not want to, he's got to watch the arm bar too here. Volkanovski's talking to him as he's throwing backwards punches and fighting off this choke. This is fun to watch. We're at 1:15 of round number 4. This has been a hell of a fight. Volkanovski trying to survive right here. We got 105 still, and he's really throwing some big shots and hitting Makhachev pretty hard with that left hand. Remember, they're sideways. Volk's on his right arm. They're both on their right arms against the ground down here, and Volk's throwing shots over his head like that. This is awesome, guys. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. We got 45 seconds left in the round. Volkanovski has fought off this attempt from Islam Makhachev from his back. He's got the triangle locked in on him, and he's Volk screaming at him as he's hitting him and talking crap the whole time. 25 seconds left. Volk's got to make it another 20 seconds. And he's really hit Islam with a lot of shots. Going backwards. He's screaming. Wow, Volkanovski is a G. So is Islam. These are warriors. These are champions. These are the toughest dudes you could ever imagine. Volkanovski survives the attempt from Islam Makhachev to go to the 5th round. He made it. 5th and final round for Alexander Volkanovski. And I think it's 2-2. Adesanya's on his feet, jumping up and down, screaming for Alexander Volkanovski. One more round, 5 more minutes against the killer, against the wrestler, the submission grappler, the machine. And for Islam Makhachev, 5 more minutes. He looks a little tired. He's calm. His heart rate's resting, though. He's got some cuts. He got hit a lot. When Volkanovski was locked in that body triangle on the ground, he was going back. He was hitting him hard, talking crap the whole time. Volkanovski's all cut up and swollen. Islam's all cut up and swollen. They're both breathing hard, but it's the 5th and final round, and it's anybody's fight. I think it's 2-2, Scott. I think it's 2-2. I really do. I think it's 2-2.
Incredible. I think, everybody knew it was going to be a banger. I don't know if everybody knew it was going to be this good, though.
I did. I don't know. I think I just learned my lesson with Alexander Volkanovski.
Well, with so many people, how many people took part? Over 60,000 people voting, 77%.
They hugged it out. Start the clock, Scott. Sorry, 4:55. Right. Start the clock. They hugged it out. So Makhachev minus 355, Volkanovski plus 275. The cardio is ridiculous from both guys. Whoever said that, whether it's Bisping or Cruz, I agree wholeheartedly. This is just, I think it's 2-2, and it's anybody's fight. Yes, I agree. Anybody's fight. 101 strikes for Volkanovski, 89 for Islam. But Islam has 47 significant strikes to 37 for Volk, who hit a nice combo in tight and followed it up with a leg kick. I like how he tries to hit him with a combo and then take out the leg to trip him. Remember when Jones did that to DC? Volkanovski coming in and gets a knee to the midsection and a left to the chin for his troubles. 409 and counting. Man, what a fight. What a fight. This one has to go the distance. It has to. And that was another big one for me. This one would go the distance, regardless of who won. So I knew it would go over 3.5, and I felt like it would go the distance, and I feel like Volkanovski is going to win. And I still feel like he's going to win. But Islam's so quick on the takedowns. They're both really sweaty. They're in the middle of the cage, and they're just throwing massive shots at one another. A nice right hand to the left eye of Volkanovski from Islam Makhachev. And we're almost at the 3.5-minute mark of round number 5. Regardless of what happens in this fight, this is a war. 2 incredible fighters. It's the first real test for Islam Makhachev, meaning being in a battle. Alexander Volkanovski's left eye is bleeding. It's coming all the way down that side. And now Islam takes him down in the middle of the octagon. Volk struggling quickly. He's right back up on his feet, but Islam keeps that body lock on him. That body lock is crazy, but Volk has a left underhook, which means his left arm is underneath the right arm of Islam Makhachev, which is textbook takedown defense, and he gets off the cage. 3 minutes left in the fight. Volkanovski not backing down an inch, coming in, and he knows in this 5th round he's either going to win or lose it based on his action in this round. Makhachev, his line is going way back up. He's a huge in-fight favorite again. But his face is touched up too. There's blood everywhere. Everybody's cut. Everybody's swollen. This is incredible. Islam Makhachev grabs the leg of Volkanovski, and now Volk's sitting down in the middle of the cage. Now he leans forward and wraps his arms in between the leg and the back, so defending that there. But Makhachev is looking here with 2.5 minutes left. He's looking, as we go over 4.5 now, he's looking to get a finish on the ground. He's not going to give up on that single leg. And Volkanovski's standing up, and it looks like Volkanovski's going to try to reverse it now. He almost got on his feet, but Islam's so good at holding those takedown attempts, and he still got the leg, but now Volkanovski's up. Wow. What a fight. Islam Makhachev is incredible. He looks like he's a little winded. Volkanovski is throwing everything he has right now. He gets in chest to chest, ducks in, and pushes Islam against the cage. This is awesome. 150 and counting. Volkanovski throwing shots in tight. He's looking to throw Islam on the ground. What a war between two incredibly tough fighters, man. Both guys so strong. Neither guy has a strength advantage at all in this fight. Neither guy has a clear-cut advantage anywhere. Volk trips Islam. Is that a takedown? I don't think so. Right back up. 1.5 minutes left. And Volkanovski standing chest to chest. They're both, sweating and cut and swollen, and this is incredible. And anybody who thinks that I'm biased or I'm against Islam, you haven't been paying attention. This dude's incredible. I just think Volkanovski's better. Oh, a big right by Volkanovski drops Islam. And now he's got him in top position. Islam's got the legs wrapped around him, though. Volkanovski is on top with a minute left, and he is ripping the body with big right hands. No one's been able to escape this in the featherweight division. This is exactly what I was talking about the whole night. I think Islam's going to win by decision if it stays this way, guys. Unfortunately, you see a decision. I want to see it go to the distance, but you want to see a fight like this decided by the fighters, not the judges. But with 30 seconds left, will this top control be enough for Alexander Volkanovski? Will it be enough to win this belt? For sure, there'd be a rematch. That's probably why they had the interim. And now it'll be Holloway Allen winner versus Yair Rodriguez. But 15 seconds left for Volkanovski. Firing away from the top. A left, a right. 8 seconds. 7, 6, 5. Continuing to blitz away. Volkanovski pounding away. 2, 1. And that's it. One more shot to the body for a good measure. And will it be enough to steal that round? Was it 2-2 or was it 3-1? If it was 3-1 Islam coming in, then it's a moot point. But if it was 2-2 on two judges' scorecards, I think Volkanovski just won the fight. Hooker loves it. Izzy loves it. It's going to the judges. They're in Australia. It went the distance, so it went over 3.5, and it went the distance. I told you guys on both of those. Now we'll see if Volkanovski gets the win, but there is no loser in this fight. What an incredible night. What an incredible performance by two of the greatest athletes walking God's green earth, Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski. What a performance by these two guys in this fight tonight. It just ended. 141-96, Volkanovski outstruck him, but the significance, 57-54. He dominated that fifth round, Alexander Volkanovski. Takedowns, 4 out of 9 for Islam. 0 for 4 for Volk. Control time, 7:37 for Islam, 2:55 for Volkanovski. This is about as even, Scott, as a fight can be. It's about as even as a fight can be, man. I don't know what we're going to hear. I'm not going to hear anything because I have it on CC. But they're hugging each other. They're both busted up. They're both bleeding. This is incredible. I love both these guys. I've become a much bigger fan of Islam Makhachev tonight. And even more so with Volkanovski. Eugene Bierman matching wits with Javier, Mendez. This is awesome. Two of the best coaches in the sport, two of the best fighters in the sport, maybe the two best fighters in the sport after what we saw tonight. Islam certainly earning his place atop the P for P. So that's official decision. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Bruce Buffer, ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds of fighting, we go to the judges' scorecard. What do you guys think? The judges score the contest. 48-47, 49-46 for the winner by unanimous decision, and still Islam Makhachev. Wow. He hasn't lost in over 10 years, and he just lost. Islam Makhachev earned that win. And guys, he won the fight. He won the fight. That was such a close fight, man. Such a close fight. But I don't see the 49-46. I see the 48-47 for Islam. That means he got the second round because Volk won the fifth and the third for sure. Islam came back out. The takedown got it for him in the fourth. And that was just an incredible fight. What an incredible fight. I mean, I just can't give all the respect in the world to Islam Makhachev. He held off the beast in that challenge. Volkanovski gave it everything he had. That was a firefight. That was both guys touching each other up, feeling each other's strengths, bleeding, just all messed up. Their faces are swollen, sweating, out of breath. They just went to war for 25 minutes and gave you, the fan, and me, in my role here, one of the best nights we've had at a UFC pay-per-view. And I love that we get to share this together on MMA Weekly, because that was one of the best fights you've ever seen in the octagon. It didn't have all the highlights and sequences that you would see in some of those other fights where you love those big highlights. You know, I mean, a Henderson and Shogun, for example, a fight like that. But tactically speaking, with those two coaches, Hav and Eugene, going back and forth, these two fighters, Islam goes far, far from home to Australia and beats Alexander Volkanovski in his backyard to take the pound for pound number one. Volkanovski will go back to featherweight and beat the snot out of Yair Rodriguez. That's how I see this playing out. But what a fight. What a fight with these two guys. There's no loser. I thought Volkanovski would win. Islam won it fair and square, and he did win it. I got it 48-47, but no shame in Volk's game. Two epic champions, and I don't see anybody at lightweight giving Islam this type of fight like Volk did. These are the two best fighters.
Don't forget about...
What was that? Like or don't like. Don't forget about what? Oh, he's going too fast for the what you call it? For the closed captioning. What an awesome, awesome performance by Islam Makhachev, guys. And I don't think he was robbed, Jordan. Volkanovski was not robbed. Not robbed at all. I mean, you can't watch that fight and say that. He had the 4 takedowns. He had the control time. Volkanovski barely outstruck him. Significant strikes by 3.
Oh, by the way,
Volkanovski said, "I appreciate the support. Let's give a round of applause for Islam." That's nice. What'd you say, Scott? I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, you see, we're backstage. We got Aiden with the camera backstage, so we'll have the post-fight presser as soon as they come back.
Love it, man. What a night down under. And Volkanovski, look, a lot of disappointment. A lot of people didn't give me a chance, but I gave myself a chance. Makhachev was really good. I prepared properly. It was a fun fight. Maybe I should capitalize on my what? I don't know. Too fast on the CC. You have to be proud of yourself. Yes, obviously. He didn't respect my wrestling, grappling. Maybe I didn't respect his striking enough either. He lit me up with some shots in there. Classy, always, Alexander Volkanovski. Still a champion of the world. Just not a 2-division champion. When can you unify those belts? Let's get it over and done with. I want to get back in. I said I would stay active. Pulled up short tonight. That doesn't change a thing. I'm a man of my word. I will be back in the featherweight division. I will be back in the lightweight division, he said. Okay. All right. Interesting. So what do you guys think? Let us know in the chat. Smash that subscribe button, the bell, the like. Let us know what you thought about that fight. Let us know what you're thinking about Islam now. Where does he go from here? Who does he fight next? Does anybody on God's green earth even believe for a second that McGregor or Chandler is going to get a title shot? Whoever wins that fight? It can't be Chandler. I mean, if so, he's got pictures of Dana with monkeys or something. Because, I mean, you come in and you beat Hooker and get a title shot. You lose to Gaethje. You were losing to Ferguson. And you did lose to Poirier. And you still get the title fights and the money fight. Now, Mike Chandler deserves it in some respects, but not anymore. No more title fights. The McGregor fight is okay there, but no more title fights for him right now. But Volkanovski definitely, didn't let those fans down tonight. He got beat by an incredible fighter in an epic fight. I mean, it was close. It was very close. He's gracious in defeat. He wanted to get it done. He can learn from it. Islam's going to learn a lot, man. He is sore. He's tired, but he passed a test. He passed a major test. This might be his toughest test, and he did it for the first time without Khabib in his corner. Of course, you know Khabib is not traveling to coach anymore. He's not completely out of it, but man, unbelievable. I need a breath. Look at the podium back there. Who have we not seen at the podium yet? And who was the last one there? That's a good question. Let me see. Oh, yeah, I can turn off the pay-per-view now. There we go. That'll save a little bandwidth. All right. Oh, Menefield was deducted a point in round 3 for grabbing the fence. And that ends up costing him a win because that was a majority draw. Wow. 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 Okay, that's what happened in that fight. Okay, it makes sense. So Alonzo Menefield and Jimmy Crute fought to a majority draw, opening fight of the card at light heavyweight. And Menefield was penalized in the 3rd round for grabbing the fence. And that way, it ended up the majority draw. Justin Tafa, he's got to be getting the $50K for that knockout of Parker Porter. Jack Della Maddalena, that submission over Randy Brown. Yair Rodriguez over Josh Emmett, triangle choke. Islam Makhachev, unanimous decision. 2 48-47s and a 49-46 over Alexander Volkanovski. I don't see the 49-46. I don't see that. Anybody in the chat room watch that fight and agree or disagree with me? Islam was robbed. He won. Foo. Volk versus Oliveira will be interesting. Oh, man, I don't know. I don't know if Charles Chin can handle Volkanovski. But I do think if Volkanovski fought Islam again, he would definitely respect his striking a little bit more. But I think the one thing we saw in this fight more than anything is how physically strong both these guys are. How many of those guys at 55 are going to be as strong as Alexander Volkanovski? And I'm talking in tight, body on body, fast twitch muscles. Who's going to be stronger? I don't think there's going to be. I like Beneil Dariush a lot at lightweight. I think he's going to smoke Charles. I think Beneil's going to beat Charles Oliveira, and I think he's going to get a title shot this year. I think he's the guy in that division who could beat Islam. I don't know how you guys feel. And I'm not just going to go around saying anybody could beat Islam. I'm saying could beat him. I don't think this dude's going to lose for a long time. I don't think Islam Makhachev is going to lose for a long time. He just beat the one guy who I thought would beat him. If this had been any of those guys at lightweight, I would have picked Islam. I only picked Volkanovski because I thought Volkanovski would win, and he's that good. And he almost did. Almost doesn't count, but it did go over 3.5. Thank you, pay me. And it did go the distance. Thank you, pay me. But this is why you don't get greedy on the parlays, Scott. To your point, if you had Volk straight up, you would have gotten 3-1. But if you parlayed it and got greedy with it, right? So if you bet, if the smart money was the smartest money in this fight to me was over 3.5. That was the smartest money to go and to go the distance. Those two bets to me were the smartest. But we'll see. I mean, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you're right and you're smart, sometimes you just get lucky. But, I mean, we saw a lot tonight. We saw Justin Tafa with a great performance. Della Maddalena is a problem at welterweight. He's a major, major problem in that division. I still don't know about Yair Rodriguez. Is Josh Emmett really that good, or did he max out? Is he one of those guys that beats everybody except the top few guys, like Bader was, for example, in the UFC? He beat everybody, and then he would lose to Rumble or lose to Jones or lose to Machida in his heyday, and there was no shame in that because those are the very best guys. So sometimes you have a fighter who's capable of cracking the top 5 maybe, but they're not going to go any further. They're not going to beat anybody in the top 3. Some fighters won't beat anybody in the top 5 or the top 10, but they still have good careers. As you see, like guys like Dober and Bobby Green bouncing up and down in the ratings, Neil Magny, guys like that, Rigged. Cyber Samurai says rigged. Yad Spoiler says, Makhachev, numbers starting to spike again. Don't forget the press conference will start momentarily. I don't know who spoke last. Or maybe, who do we have, Aiden? Maybe Aiden can clear that up. Who was the last fighter in the press room, if Aiden can hear me?
Aiden said that Jack Della and Yair have not been back. But if Dana White's there, Dana White might be the first one to come back. He kind of usually gets back there first, and announces the fight of the nights and such, the bonuses.
We should have been in Perth, Scott.
I don't like those long flights.
Did you see how beautiful that city looks?
Yeah, I'd love to go. I just don't think I'll
Oh,
be going when I go see a UFC. I just want to spend more time there and enjoy it.
this is true. Hunt for some of those animals that are all over those Discovery channels, the deadliest animals in the world. They're all in Australia, man, and South Florida.
Got to watch out for those sharks. There's been a lot of shark attacks around the world lately. Lots of great whites over there in Australia.
Even they realize what's wrong with this place, man. They're like, "What's wrong with you guys? We gotta bite some sense into you." Unanimous, no. Islam is the winner. Yes, absolutely. It was quite clear. I agree. I agree. I know emotion is high, but except for the last round, the first two round and fourth round is Islam. Third is Alex, and fifth round, Alex didn't get takedown. Unfortunately, I think he lost that round. Yeah, he won third and fifth. You're right, and maybe second. He had a chance if he had won the second. But I'll tell you what, he ended up in that top position. He was throwing blows till the end of the fight, and if that fight kept going another minute, maybe Islam's finished. Maybe. I mean, it was getting there. But no, he didn't. TBE, Islam did not dominate Volk. He did not. Nobody dominated anybody in this fight, my brother. Volk did not dominate Islam, but that was a great title fight. There's been a lot of them over the years, but as far as just how great each guy was and the chess match back and forth and Bierman and Hav and oh man. We're waiting for McGregor to beat Islam. Oh boy. You're gonna be waiting a long time. You're gonna be waiting a long. I don't think we're ever gonna see that fight. Do you, Scott? Connor and Islam? Put it this
I
way, if
don't
Connor
know.
loses to Michael Chandler, where does he even go from there? Like, does he just retire if you lose to Mike Chandler?
He can go fight Nate Diaz under Jake Paul.
Yeah, right. But I don't think Connor's the dude who's going to keep fighting if he doesn't think he. I think he still believes he's great, and I think he still believes he has another run in him to a championship. If he didn't believe that, I don't think he would fight. I really don't.
I hope
That
you're
dude's
right.
all about winning.
Hope you're right.
Yeah. I mean, it's good for the sport if he makes one more run, right?
Yeah, well, I think people are just kind of tired of it unless you're winning, and he has not been winning. But the lead up to him fighting Islam would be pretty incredible. That'd be an incredible pressers.
Can you imagine him antagonizing Khabib? You over there sitting in your little mountain, not traveling to coach anymore. You're scared. You're a little scared. I can hear him now. And then all of a sudden, he baits Khabib back out. He beats Islam, right? We can dream. He beats Islam and baits Khabib out of retirement and beats Khabib. Connor.
Yeah, I
McGregor
don't
fans
think
actually think this. It's
I don't think
far-fetched.
Connor's bullying act would work. I mean, Islam seems like such a nice guy. He comes
Hmm.
across, I just don't think that bully acting would go over well.
No. No, Islam, he showed me a lot tonight. He always shows a lot. But look, until they beat top level competition, they need to prove it. And I hold them to that standard. So many people just want to run guys to the top of the rankings and put them in title fights when they have one big win or two big wins. I just come from the mindset that you should have to earn it more than that. And in these last couple of months, we've seen some crazy things happen with Yuri being hurt and vacating the belt at light heavyweight, Prohashka, and then that fight blows up with Glover. Who knows how that would have turned out? Would Glover have won that fight? Would he not? He wouldn't have gotten decimated, I don't think, like he did by Jamal Hill. But Jamal Hill was ranked seventh, and if you would have asked Jamal Hill in November when you saw him in New York at the appearances he was doing around the city at number 7 in the division with Glover and Yuri scheduled for the rematch for the belt, and all those guys ahead of you, Blachowicz, Ankalaev, and then Rakic, who's injured, and Anthony Smith too. Somehow all the chips are going to fall to where Yuri gets hurt and vacates the belt. Glover doesn't take the short notice fight. Ankalaev and Blachowicz end up stinking out the joint to a draw. And somehow on the next pay-per-view, because Dana's so pissed off, Jamal Hill gets the shot. It's crazy, right? How all that happens, and you just never know. Well, Oliveira and Chandler has a title fight. Islam, look, I just want to see these fighters fight more times against top-level competition before getting those big shots. And I think that's only right. And I do think Khabib didn't fight the best fighters of his generation. It's a moot point now. Tough to compare him and compare eras anyway. But man, I really feel in this case that back-to-back wins, the way he did it against Oliveira to dominate him, a great champion with all those wins in a row, the most finishes, submissions in UFC history, and then you go and you do that over 5 rounds against Volkanovski, and you beat him, and he did beat him, and it was very clear that he beat him. And the 49-46 score, they did not give Volkanovski that 3rd round, and I don't understand that, or maybe it was the 5th. But we're in the press room now, and we're waiting for the post-fight press conference on MMA Weekly. UFC 284. Smash that subscribe, the like, the follow. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, Gries, at Jim Grease _ at Cageside Grease on social media, at MMA Weekly, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We got a lot of people watching tonight. What a night it's been in Australia. And really, the co-main was not a huge co-main. Everyone wanted to see this main event. There's something about that whole pound-for-pound thing. The UFC really milked that, Scott, just like they did the BMF. But they love milking that pound-for-pound thing because fans love that pound-for-pound debate. And when you can put 2 guys at the top of the pound-for-pound, 1 division apart, and do a super fight for the pound-for-pound, that's rare. That never happens. And it just did tonight. We got a treat as fans. We all got a treat. You know?
Yeah, we saw history tonight.
We did. And we saw Jens Pulver joining the 2023 class of the UFC Hall of Fame.
That's great
which
to
is
see.
also cool.
Jens is such a good guy.
Yeah, you got any good Jens Pulver stories, Scott? I wasn't
I
there
used
for
to
all that.
I used to hook up with him when he'd come to Japan when he was no longer fighting in the UFC, and the UFC didn't have the lightweight division anymore. And yeah, he was coming out there and fighting in Shuto, and then there's here we go.
Yep, this is Jack Della Maddalena with an obliteration and a submission of Randy Brown tonight in front of the home fans, a rising star at welterweight on MMA Weekly.
Well, Jack, from right here, congratulations on one of our could be the biggest win of your career. I'll let you tell me if I'm wrong, but what is the emotions now after this massive win here in your hometown?
Yeah, definitely the biggest win of my career. It's the toughest test of my career, and yeah, it feels great.
Well, you said you would knock him out in the first round, but it was a submission in the first round. So walk us through the exchange. It looked like he was kind of showboating a bit, trying to use his length, and then you clipped him once and just tackled him.
Yeah, it was sort of. Yeah, it was the style that he does a lot. Like I watched a lot of his fights, and he gets pushed up against the cage and then just sort of cruises out. He did it to me a few times, and I just waited for him to cruise out. And I hit him with a hard shot and went down. I hit him a few times, and I thought I was landing, and then he turned and gave his neck. So I know how to choke someone, so I just jumped on it.
It looked like when you clipped him with the right hook, I think most fighters would probably kind of come with the left, but you followed up again with like a similar right hook again. So what did you see from Randy just kind of collapsing to just follow up both punches simultaneously?
Yeah, I like doubling up on the same side. You know, yeah, a lot of MMA fighters just stick to left, right, left, right, left, right. But I like to show some class in the boxing, double up on the same side.
And you obviously, you said you want top 15, but when do you want? I know you're going to Bali or wherever you said, but how soon do you want to get back in there? Because we have a few welterweight fights that are coming up soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are match. I'm keen to. I feel like I like my schedule last year. It was for in January and June and November. So yeah, probably mid-year will be cool.
And finally, what do you make of the fans here in Perth? Sitting cage side is like you can't really hear yourself think.
Yeah, it was insane. You know, it was what I expected, what I envisioned, and yeah, pretty surreal. I tried to take it in as much as I could.
Hey, Jack, how you doing?
Good, thanks, Mitch.
I just thought more people wanted to talk to you quicker, but I'll take it. In a fight like this, mate, when it ends so one-sided so quickly, and you head back over the next couple of weeks with your head coach, Ben Vickers, how do you break this down? Do you just go, yep, great, cool, let's move forward? Or can you still take things away that you weren't happy with?
We've got stuff that we're just working on in general, so we just get back to the drawing board and continue to improve on the skills that we have and get better at them. And yeah, I think I would look back at the fight, and I haven't actually seen it yet, but I think there will be some things that we can pick up on.
And over the last year or two, it was about getting to the UFC, seeing if you belong. You now well and truly belong at the top. Do you have a long-term plan in terms of the career, or is it just guy in the top 15, you'll take anyone?
Yeah, honestly, I'll fight anyone in the top 15. I'm after challenging myself, and I think, yeah, I thought Randy would bring the challenge, and yeah, I'm excited for the next challenge.
And is there any name that you think you'd match up well with?
Not really. Not really. I think Vicente Luque doesn't have a fight. I think that would be a banger.
Awesome. All right, thanks, mate.
Sweet. Thank you.
All right, there we go. Jack Della Maddalena. Remember the name. I know that's Bilal Muhammad's nickname, but remember the name, as in actually remember the name, because that dude is a problem at 170. Is that Jose Youngs? Yeah, that's Jose, my buddy. Not him. Not that. That's the UFC's media relations dude. I forget his name. He's a good dude too. But we're waiting for Yair Rodriguez, the celebration for the new interim featherweight champ, and we are waiting for Islam Makhachev and probably Alexander Volkanovski, I would say.
And Dana White, if he's there.
And Dana, if he's there. He was at the Super Bowl in Phoenix yesterday. I don't know, but it's a long flight to Australia.
He won't be there then.
I mean, what is it, 30 hours? I saw John Anik on Twitter just like going from airport to airport, and he's going, I mean, it looked like it was killing him.
I think once you get to Australia, I think that's at least 17 hours. And then you got, I think, another 4 to 6 hour flight to Perth.
Yikes. Well, someone just asked in the chat, Scott, and it's going too fast I mean, it was like Islam smoked Volk on the feet, and another person said no one's talking about how Islam outsmarted Volkanovski on the feet. It was very close in the striking department. Volkanovski landed 3 more significant strikes, but he did admit in the post-fight interview with Bisping, he did admit that he might have underestimated Islam's striking a little bit. His striking's really good. I mean, we knew that coming in. Islam's striking is, everyone just talks about, and you fall into this trap a lot with fighters, because if they're known for one thing and you think that's what they are and that's all they are, you fall into that trap of kind of only talking about his wrestling or his grappling when the guy's damn good on the feet. You don't make it to the UFC without being really good on your feet. You don't become a UFC champion without being great in all facets. Those days are long, long gone. And I got news for you. They never really, really were. Yeah, some guys could come in with wrestling, and they had to know how to fight, though. They were going to striking gyms because they had to know at least what to do in the stand-up, and they had to be able to land a couple shots here and there. They had to learn how to take them, how to defend against them. You can't be a one-trick pony in the UFC. It's impossible. There's no way you would ever make it. There's no chance you would even get there. It's just not possible. And yeah, that's pretty much the way it goes there. So, Scott, I'm relying on you to kind of guide me through this as far as what's going on with us. But I know that we have Aiden there in Perth, and I don't even know what time it is there. Does anyone know? It's like literally what?
It's 16 hours ahead. So it's 10 o'clock
ahead
here. So that means it's 4 p.m. because I think it's 4 p.m. on Sunday.
Well, I'm going to make a wish right now because it's Saturday, February 11th at 11:11 p.m. for me. So I'm making a wish. Okay, the wish is made. Volk reversed the takedowns. Volk did great defending them, and Islam was only 4 out of 9, but you're used to him hitting every takedown he ever attempts. Congrats to Islam, but you got to give respect to Volk. He moved up weight to challenge himself. Yes, Elias James, you are dead right. Alexander's mindset is different level. He is straight go mode, talking and joking in bad positions on the ground. Most fighters in those positions panicked and got drowned. Volk was very motivating. Volk fans cry. You can't digest this defeat. Cry more. Congrats to Islam, but you got to give respect to Volk. Yep. Easiest win for Islam? That's absurd. If anyone thinks Volk won, then you know nothing about fighting. Okay, that's I would say that's true. Not you know nothing, but you didn't, Anybody with knockout power can defeat Islam. Anyone with knockout power can defeat anyone because all you do is hit them one time. That's what knockout power is, and that's what knockout power does. I don't understand that comment. But I get the gist of what you're saying. I just don't understand why that would be anything that would be a newsflash to anyone. Congrats to Islam from Ethiopia. Not a fan of either. Mark Locke says no way it was 49-46. No, Volk didn't win. 4-1 Islam. One of the judges had it 4-1. You think if that fight was in Russia, two of the judges would have had it 49-46? Yeah, 49-46 is absurd. Dariush will take the belt. Gravy agrees with me. I like Beneil. I really like Dar. He just beat Mateus Gamrot on a torn MCL. I mean, think about that. He beat him on a torn MCL. Man, this is awesome. What a night, guys. Islam Makhachev with the win. He's the champion. Yair Rodriguez or Dana White should be back there now. I mean, he's been waiting all this time. What is going on? And you know Yair is going to be a happy dude. Volk, what an inspiration. Incredible to step up like that and go the distance. Mijan 101. Yeah, very nice. And equally impressive, Islam Makhachev challenging Volkanovski, going to his backyard in Australia and beating him there to take the pound for pound. Now, I have guys in a chat that I'm in who are saying, Scott, you give me your thoughts on this if you would, Scott. Elkan says Islam is a... Oh, I'm sorry, Elkan. Your comment disappeared.
There it is. I got it right there.
Islam is a hell of a fighter. He has too much faith in God, and men like that can never be defeated. Interesting take. Volk fans, stop crying. It's already flooding here. Something is obviously fishy around the honesty of the UFC. Politics behind the scene. Oh, boy. Do you think Alex's crowd intimidated Islam? No. I think Volkanovski's strength shocked the shit out of him. And I think Islam's speed and creativity and deception in the striking game confused Volkanovski, really surprised him. So I think each guy was much better overall than the other guy thought he was going in. I think each guy thought he had a clear advantage in one area of the fight. Volkanovski very clear about his thoughts about having an advantage in the striking department. And Islam always thinks he has the advantage of wrestling and on the ground. So, yeah, each guy was surprised to find out in the octagon, which is always when you find out, right? They haven't fought before, trained together. So that's when you find out what the other guy is all about. And I think both guys were surprised by how good the other one was in the areas where they had thought they had a very clear advantage. Islam won the game. Volk smashed him in the process. Those shots that he hit from the ground in the fourth, and then, man, just in the fifth, just finishing the way that he did. I think he would have finished Islam if the fight went another minute, maybe 30 seconds. I mean, look at the position he was in at the end of the fight. It didn't matter, ultimately. Does Islam win convincingly? Our judges have made mistakes before. No, he won convincingly. Did Volk drop Islam with a well-timed hit, or was it lucky? Well, it can be. Luck is created when preparation meets opportunity, right? You have to train to throw those punches, to connect with those punches. You have to keep throwing those punches. You have to keep ducking and dodging punches as you're throwing punches, defending takedowns, and all these things that they're doing. So, yeah, of course, you got all the skill in the world, but sometimes it is luck when a big punch lands. Yes. Islam fans cry that Volk did so good against him, you thought it would be easy. Okay, that's like clickbait, trying to trigger people, whatever it is. Is it fair to say Volk is a natural lightweight with freakish ability to cut down? The guy fought like the second best lightweight in the world. I mean, he did. Yes, he did. That's what I said right after the fight. Great comment there. But, yeah, Yeah, because I don't see anybody in the lightweight division doing what Alexander Volkanovski just did with Islam Makhachev. I don't see anybody. I see Beneil Dariush doing that, but I don't see any of those guys coming back through. Dustin Poirier is a G. Justin Gaethje is too. I love Chandler. Don't get me wrong, but he's out of the picture now in the title. In the title picture anyway at 55. But I don't know. Khabib is on a higher level than Islam. Agree. Now there's a comparison. I mean, Islam hasn't had the fights that Khabib had yet. Khabib just kept getting better and better, his striking particularly. But you see the similarities here. The one thing I think as I watch Islam and Khabib got better and better at this as he got older was when he was able to just be so tough with those takedowns, no matter who
All
it
right,
was.
thanks,
He got
everybody.
you. All right,
Just to
who's
kick
this
things
here?
off, let's start with the bonuses. The fight of the night was obviously Islam and Volk. Performance
not
bonuses
Dana.
go to Jack Della and Yair. The gate tonight broke the Australian arena record, so highest grossing event for any arena in Australia across any content, concerts, sports, exhibitions, whatever. The attendance was 14,124, fully sold out, with a gross total in Australian dollars of 5,911,598. Two transports tonight, Pedro and Shanus. That's it from my side. Any questions from you guys?
Yeah,
Mike?
right here. Well, phenomenal crowd tonight. I mean, you've been all over the world and seen so many of these events. Where does tonight's rank in your pound for pound list?
I mean, pound for pound best, pretty high on the list. I mean, the place was deafening. Like, I feel like I've been listen to my voice. I feel like I've been at like a Metallica concert, just sitting in front of the speakers. It was great. It was great. We went through, a few of us in the back, just going through some of the really memorable events over the last, 12 months at least, and thinking about London last March and Paris, a few of the Vegas events, and this is right up there. It was loud. I think it was 50% full before the first fight happened, and then 90% full during the prelims, early prelims. So it was an incredible week after not having been here for over 3 years. And one of the things that, we've got this relationship with the tours in Western Australia, TWA, and we do a lot of work trying to figure out, the impact of the event, right? There's a lot of discussions around the impact from an economic perspective, how many people are coming to Perth. And not only did we have an out-of-state ticket purchase percentage of about 68%, but we had thousands of people that are coming to Perth because even without a ticket. So I think how much this event was coveted across the country, I think is a testament to how far mixed martial arts has come, all across the country, not just WA, and something that certainly gives us so much confidence coming back, hopefully as soon as possible.
Yeah, and this is kind of two questions in one. When are you looking at a return? And Alex, in his post-fight interview, said something, I believe it was really loud, about Adelaide and Yair. Did he tip?
Did you say Adelaide?
Yeah, did he tip something off there? Or?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because we haven't made a decision yet on what the next event is. But just in speaking to Mick just now, the brilliance of just these guys and the way they put the card together and thinking about the opportunities for not only other Aussie athletes and where they're going to compete in the next 6 months, but the fact that Yair's had such a brilliant performance and now he's up against Alex. You basically got UFC Countdown sort of produced already with all the footage that came out of those two fights. So not sure the timing of our return or the timing of that event in particular, that fight in particular, but we will definitely be here at some point again this year.
Well, what about the flip side of that? You now have, I know Yair is an interim champion, but two Mexican champions essentially. Is there a possibility of going back to Mexico and maybe bringing Yair there for this fight? Yeah,
Lawrence has been talking about that for a while. We want to get the Performance Institute open. We announced that earlier this week, the Performance Institute in Mexico City. And I'm not really sure about the timing, probably later this year. But at some point, or in and around that launch or in that opening, it's going to make sense to go to Mexico City.
Last thing for me, kind of, away from that little location question, any updates on Canada? Is the Canadian asking here? Are we going to get there anytime soon?
Two good buds just chatting.
Yeah, tell me, no one's watching.
Yeah, no, there's no update. We've got nothing to report at the moment, but we've been very clear. I think every time that we've chatted, it's only a matter of weeks probably until we announce something.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
They were,
Hey.
looking back when dominant champs and fought in their hometown, like when Stipe won in Cleveland and he never went back, people always thought, like, why did we never go back to Cleveland with Stipe? Can you bring Alex anywhere else outside of Australia after witnessing what we did tonight?
I mean, I think there's, you know, one of the things that Hunter was mentioning in the back was the fact that, like, you know, stock's never been higher. So it wasn't even a Pyrrhic victory, right? Like, because he didn't seem to take a ton of damage. I know he was on the ground quite a bit, but the fact that his stock rose by virtue of he took Islam 5 rounds. I'm sure a ton of people had on their scorecards that he was up 3-2 and not down 3-2. So I think we can take him wherever. Now, if the question is, does it make most sense to always have him here? Then yeah, there's a big argument for the impact that he made across the country this week. You know, our pay-per-view buys in Australia were trending to be bigger than our pay-per-view buys in Australia when Conor fought, right? So the impact of Volk and numerous others, including Jack Delley, had like an incredible performance as well. I think it makes a lot of sense to come back, right? We're still in this world of this is one of our principal pay-per-view territories around the world, and so from a promoter standpoint, it's important to have him in an area where he can make the most impact, not only from a brand perspective, but also so we can continue to reach new high water marks on the revenue side.
And on the flip side of that, I know you don't make the matchups or anything, but at what point do you start bringing like non-Australian superstars onto these cards? Like, as much as they love Jack and Rob and Ty and Alex, like, I'm sure people here would love to watch like Jorge Masvidal fight or like Leon Edwards fight. Like, at what point do you bring non-Australian?
I mean, we look at it as it's a luxury that we've got so many competitive and so many high quality Australian athletes, and you see the impact. I mean, the Yair and Emmett fight was great, but like, I mean, it was an incredible fight. It didn't have the same resonance with the crowd as the rest of the Aussies competing or the Kiwis competing. So how long? I mean, we have Rousey and home, and I'm trying to think. You put me on the spot. Fatigued after this event, man. I feel like I've just gone 5 rounds with Islam. But yeah, I think there's a real opportunity. There's one thing you saw that over the years you can sense that the understanding and appreciation for mixed martial arts has continued to rise almost every time we've come back, right? And there were just small kind of nuances, slight adjustments in position, slight holds on attempted subs where if someone made that move, the fan base almost unanimously started to cheer, right? They understood exactly what was happening in a very precise and acute way. And I think that's a testament to how far the sport has come here. So could we bring other global stars? 100%. But when you've got great Australians or New Zealanders that can compete, it also makes sense. Like, it's almost been an embarrassment of riches, right? Like, you've had, Izzy and Rob and Volk and Ty and, the list goes on. We're in this really great period of mixed martial arts in Australia.
I don't know if this is you're the right guy for this question necessarily, but a lot of fans are saying that ticket pricing is crazy for events like this, events like London. I'm curious, is that something that you guys set, or is that Ticketmaster dynamic pricing we've heard about a lot recently? And how much do you have to do with those prices?
Yeah, I mean, we scale the venue, right? But we scale the venue based on data points and education on what the market can bear at the moment. Did it make sense to bring this fight to Optus, to the stadium here? I mean, possibly. There's probably 5,000 or 10,000 people that came into the city that didn't have tickets. So could we have scaled up to 30 or 40? I think the demand would have been there. It obviously would have changed the average ticket price. But I think there was an opportunity, given the demand, just to scale it appropriately. So yeah, this is driven by our our knowledge of what the market can bear at the moment.
I just wanted to know, where does Australia rank in terms of countries that you have to work with in bringing events? Australia, for its size, seems to get relatively quite a lot of UFC events. Is it because the government is so transparent with working with you guys? Tourism, like what actually makes it so easy?
So, working with state governments in this country in more of a partnership way is a relatively new thing. And I think the affinity and the interest, the desire for like global events, whether it's sports or music or food or fashion festivals, whatever it might be, is heightened in Australia because, one, people love events in this country, and two, like, it's far, right? It takes a lot to it's helpful for promoters or other managers of tours or sports events, to make it here. It wasn't long ago that we were fighting or working with to educate state governments around the health and safety protocols and practices that we've got in our sport, why the octagon is a better, field of play than a boxing ring. And so a lot of that work and that education, I think, has gone into the development of just the understanding of our sport, right? We want to work closely. We've always talked about this concept of running to regulation to ensure that, not only are we working with state governments,
When Islam commented on the lack of promotion for this event, do you know what? Because obviously it was huge. Like,
Yeah.
You heard it tonight. Everyone's talking about it. People that don't have tickets are watching it somewhere. Do you know why he might have thought that?
I have no idea. I mean, I haven't talked to him about it. I don't know the root cause of that. What I do know is that, this is one of these events, and Dana and Sean and Mick and Hunter have been talking about it for months. Like, you don't get many opportunities to have the pound for pound number 1 and 2 together, right? Like, it's an overused cliche, but the stars really do need to align, right? You've got to have the right athletes at the right time of their careers. You've got to have, a venue that makes sense, right? To bring it to Australia was absolutely perfect for us. And then you've obviously got to have at least weight classes where they're within one weight class of the other. And so this was the perfect circumstance where you've got two guys that and it turned out to be an absolutely brilliant fight. So I'm not sure what the impetus or sort of the cause or the objective of those comments were. I certainly didn't agree with it.
Thank you.
Can I just ask over here, Mitch from over here. We're really excited over in WA about Jack Della Maddalena. We just saw, he's not a one-trick pony, gone from knockouts to now submission. Where does the UFC sort of see him in the next 12 months? And he says he wants a top 15 welterweight now.
So it's a tough conversation or tough topic for me to comment on because it's not, within my purview. I know talking to Sean and Mick, I mean, these guys think that he's the real deal. What that means on his next bout, I've got no idea. Will he get a top 15? I mean, I think his performance, like Randy Brown's no joke. I think his performance tonight probably warrants something like that, but not for me to comment. But I think it's a pretty safe bet that he's going to continue to rise up the ranks.
And you just spoke about, this stadium this arena, and how full it was. Jack sort of mentioned that one day his dream is to hold a big fight here. We've got a big stadium down the road that can seat close to 50. I know it's outdoors. Mm-hmm. Is something like that even possible for somewhere over here, considering what you saw tonight?
You've got good precedents in this country, right? With a couple in Melbourne, Etihad, Marvel. So we're not going to rule it out. At some point, it might make sense. We don't do a lot of them. We've done sort of 5 or 6 in the past. But, if there's one country that can handle it, it's probably this country.
Thanks.
Does having such successful events in Australia detract from the likelihood of there being events in New Zealand? Because Australia is just more scalable?
No, I mean, our events in New Zealand have been incredible. Yeah, no, not at all.
When would be the likelihood of the next kind of event coming to New Zealand?
Could be this year. Yeah. I mean, we're trying to, from event perspective, and I've spoken to a few guys about this in the past few months. I mean, we are getting back to pre-COVID levels in terms of the proportion of international events that we have on our overall. We're not going to get all the way back there this year, but we will get back there at some point in the next year or two. And that likely means 2 or 3 events in Australia and New Zealand every year.
Cool. Thank you.
No worries.
Just one more. Going off that, once you do get back to pre-COVID levels, once you say, as you hope, how many UFC events do you think would still be at the Apex?
That's a good question. I think the Apex is always going to be in the mix now. It makes a lot of sense. We kind of turn off the lights and lock the doors when the events are over. And it's, it makes sense from an ease of operations. It also makes sense as a good fallback plan. Like if we have something that just doesn't work out in a venue, or if it's tough to get to a certain city we want to get to, we can always go to the Apex. I think there's a lot of advantages to it. So I don't know the number, but I think it'll always be in the mix. We really appreciate everyone's support. It's huge for us to come back to Australia, and it's really important for us to put on a good show. And I think the work that you guys all did was incredibly helpful in promoting the event across the country and around the world. We're pretty excited with the results this week, not only in the octagon, but outside. So appreciate all your support, guys. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Dana White not there. The UFC post-fight press conference. They set records. They're trending to have the biggest pay-per-view ever. The combination of New Zealand and Australia. Alexander Volkanovski, a megastar in Australia, and he's got a big payday coming his way for tonight, and he deserves it. So does Islam Makhachev. What a night. What a performance by him and by Alex in the main event. Just absolutely incredible. I don't know how you feel, Scott, but I feel like I was given a gift tonight as a fan to watch